I saw the logo and I went, that's my name, Snow White's up there, and I cried my eyes out.
What was it like seeing yourself for the first time in full Snow White drag?
I love that description, it's perfect.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign. I am.
Shut up!
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. When I tell you that it's hard, I just mean to be inside my brain. And I'm there 24/7. I can't get out of it.
It's Hollywood, baby. But weird.
Weird is not exactly how the Man Guide family would describe it, but sure, it's pretty damn weird. Disney has always had a fair share of controversy, from the Jonas Brothers debacle,
Jonas Brothers would be right out, girls,
to the fact that they take age-old stories and make their intellectual property. It hasn't been the kind of creative wellspring it advertises itself to be. But then they started making live-action movies, films that can only be described as the mutant offspring of Amy Schumer and Scrooge McDuck. Movies that are so horrible that any sensible parent has just outright refused to acknowledge their existence around children. Now, part of this has to do with the movies being objectively unpalatable, which is true, but it's also because they are fulfilling the Orwellian prophecy, scrubbing old tales of masculinity and replacing them with tired portrayals of girl bosses that conquer all their foes just by harnessing the fish aisle between their legs. Recently, all of this has been coming to a head, with much of the criticism falling on the laps of the mouse's latest travesty, Snow White, a garbage CGI mess that has led to more idiotic discussions than a Thanksgiving dinner in San Francisco. And now, I'm forced to join the party. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? With this 2023 analysis called How Snow White star Rachel Zegler Managed to Piss Off Both Disney Fans and Conservatives.
Save me from myself and all this conflict.
The latest heated debate to take over TikTok doesn't involve an influencer brand trip or a celebrity feud. It involves the upcoming live-action remake of Disney's classic 1937 animated feature Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The new Snow White movie has already been a target of, shall we say, traditionalists who are not happy about the casting of Zegler, who is half Colombian and half Polish, as the famously fairest Disney princess.
Oh, that's not it.
There may be some overlap, but many of these Zegler critics seem to be just regular TikTok users, the kind who probably wore pink to Barbie and loved it, who likely aren't married to this old-fashioned idea of a Snow White. On the other hand, this whole thing dovetails a bit with the recreationary backlash that we often see bubble up on TikTok and other social media platforms. See Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp, when the targeting of one individual becomes a trend off of which to earn likes and followers.
Wrong again.
In the more explicitly conservative corners of TikTok, meanwhile, some people are mad at Zegler because, well, they were always going to be mad at a biracial Latina actor playing Snow White. There's also been a bit of backlash against Disney's decision to reimagine the Seven Dwarfs, characters that perpetuate stereotypes of dwarfism, as actors like Peter Dinklage have pointed out, as magical creatures in a diversity of genders, heights, and ethnicities. However, even given all of this baggage, Zegler's resurfaced interviews definitely didn't help. Some conservatives believe not only that Zegler's tenure as Snow White is an act of cultural appropriation, but also that a more feminist tale is an act of virtue signaling that will water down the original's great moral sensibilities, LOL. You might put LOL, but that doesn't make anything you said remotely valid. Also, this might have started on TikTok, I got no idea, but at this point a majority of the world is just pissed off. The author here tries to argue that this has been a racial thing, that the primary reason people don't like the new movie is that people are just prejudiced. It's an all too common move when feminists have nothing to defend a steaming pile of cinematic trash. But what really happened, as this chick tries to skate over it, is that Zegler went on a viral campaign talking about how all of these stories need to be feminized for modern audiences, as the critical drinker would put it. Sure, there's a bunch of talks about the dwarves and false allegations about widespread prejudice, but what really happened is what I said at the start. Disney administrators have been replaced with venomous cat ladies dedicated to making every woman an undeserved hero, while making every man a bumbling idiot unable to find their car keys. That's the real reason people are upset. I mean, even with the Ariel movie, which I never bothered to watch, just read the summary, the woman is the one that ends up being the savior, while the men do almost nothing that they would have done if they were, well, actual men.
A man doesn't want a dictatorial woman in his home. The less feminine you are, the more you're going to struggle, the more you're going to be fighting against the biological tide rather than working with it. So what does that look like? First of all, being softer. When you first dated, I guarantee you exuded softness and receptivity. That's how you got them. You immediately went into your feminine because we kind of instinctually know how to do that, but something tends to happen over time. And we've all been there, and it's not anything to feel bad about. It's just to have an awareness of, look, here's what works and here's what doesn't. And if you want to go in the positive direction, think back to when it was easy. And whatever you employed then, do it again.
Basically saying, date your husband.
Yeah.
Be his girlfriend.
Be his girlfriend. Not his boss. Whatever it is that you're doing during the day with your kids or at your job, let that be there and learn how to switch gears when you come home at night.
One might question why I used marriage for something like Disney or any other service-based entertainment platform, but there's a good reason for that. Business, in many ways, is like a US, UK, or other Western marriage. Sure, at the start, everyone knew their place. Women were women, men were men, and the movies that came out reflected the dynamic. The same can be said about what happened to Disney, albeit in the same negative way. Women became feminist progressives, and the men that stuck around were mindless simps, both feeding into the delusion that a 100-pound girl could put a snow monster in a chokehold or fight a bear with her own two hands. It's why an analysis exists like this in the first place. Here we go. I can see why some people are irked by Zegler's comments, just as I can kinda see where Zegler is coming from. Is the original movie, although a technical and artistic marvel at the time it came out, thematically outdated by now? Definitely. Dinklage's opposition to its depiction of dwarfism is apt, and Zegler has some valid points about the film being almost entirely unconcerned with Snow White's ability to do anything except to be a good person and kind friend.
Alphabet.
Then again, that's not worth noting, and she is a bit busy trying to escape being actively persecuted by her evil stepmother to ponder her future as a political leader. The jury's still out on whether the prince is actually a stalker, but he may just be a music lover who cannot help but follow the dulcet tones of a beautiful voice.
I told you.
As for Zegler's comments about focusing on love, she is right that women are more than just the people that they fall in love with, but her detractors are right in that women can be smart and capable but also want to fall in love, and that's fine too. But it's not fine, because none of this actually happens in real life. In fact, whenever women act like the new woman in these movies, which many of them do, men want absolutely nothing to do with them. They're not admired, and they sure as hell aren't respected. They're seen for what they are, whiny children that will remain stagnant until they reach an early grave. Also, notice how the author and the rest of the Disney freak show define a traditional woman to do anything except to be a good person and kind friend. The fact that these are now deemed harmful tells you everything you need to know about what's going on in their heads. To them, the ideal woman is a walking nightmare, a wannabe man without any of the equipment to actually bring such a pipe dream into reality. It's a mental illness, and why we see young girls acting like this instead of what was once idolized.
You being mad disrespectful.
You're the one that came in the car. You're still not on that. So you're showing exactly what the reason why I'm kicking you out.
Hi, I have an Uber driver being mad disrespectful. I just paid $14 to get to school, and he's kicking us out. I just paid $14. No, I'm not taking another Uber. No, we're not getting out. You being mad disrespectful. You butt her or something?
No.
Like you heartless or something? You're useless.
Okay.
You're going to hell for this.
Alright. You're wasting my time? You're wasting your own time?
You're wasting my time.
Right, okay.
I just need one for no reason.
I have 2 individuals in my vehicle that are doing Uber and they don't want to get out the car.
We paid $14.
No, the girl called.
We paid $14.
The girl called.
We paid $14.
You can hear her. You can hear her in the background. They won't get out my.
We're not gonna get out.
You sure about that?
You might want to put the spoon down. It's not doing you any favors. People like to blame the parents in this situation, which is valid. But like I've said in recent videos, the environment, packed with feminist messaging damning traditional roles, is definitely the main culprit that makes women think eating ice cream while yelling at an Uber driver somehow heroic. And current developments, when Disney released the official trailer for Snow White, didn't do them any favors. In Snow White trailer release ignites heated fan reactions, the one that will end it all. Stephen Thrash writes, "The Snow White teaser trailer's heated reactions are pouring in. Forget visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, rather envision angry villagers massing together with pitchforks and torches. Those are the images one might conjure up after reading some of the online reactions to the brand new footage." Yes, a large number of fans don't seem too pleased with the teaser coming out of D23 for Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot's upcoming live-action Snow White movie, and the critiques are building up in the YouTube video's comments.
As much as they should.
Snow White's teaser trailer further ignited the flames flickering at an already hostile Disney fandom. But one of the more interesting aspects of the diehards' belly aching doesn't have anything to do with the storytelling or even the aforementioned Seven Dwarfs controversy.
Nope, wrong again.
Rather, there seems to be some debate between viewers when it comes to casting Rachel Zegler as the oh-so-beautiful Snow White and Gal Gadot as the much less attractive Evil Queen, specifically where the whole magic mirror on the wall, who's the fairest one of all, is concerned. Mostly wrong, but you got a little accurate at the end there. Gal Gadot is a feminist problem for sure, but yeah, I mean, come on, you put an Israeli model next to Lord Farquaad. That's about as believable as making Lizzo the next protagonist next to Margot Robbie. Regardless, they once again missed the mark entirely. I'm not going to ask you to do the deep dive, I got this, but there has been a leak in addition to the original trailer. Remember how the animal cleans the house with the princess? It's okay if you don't, after all, you are a dude. Anyway, that's not a thing anymore. Instead, because the dwarves are pretty much guys, Snow White makes them clean the house. Yep, she orders small, terrible-looking CGI male monstrosities to sweep up the house after a day at the mines. And like the Disney simps of the past 10 years, they take on the task with glee like a pig in shit. At every turn, they've dismantled another old story and replaced it with feminist propaganda. But everyone and their mother in the media just continues to ignore that fact and stick to the message.
I get stopped for photos every time I'm online for the Snow White ride, and I have to pretend like, oh God, well, crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how long?
It's like I'm standing there waiting for the photo op, being like,
Well, you kind of are, you know?
No, I guess
it's like
so.
if Harrison Ford.
I'm Snow White!
Is that your favorite ride? I mean, that's a weird thing that you are Snow White now.
I mean, It's one of the original. I'm a really big Disney fan. I grew up at the Disney parks. My parents took me every summer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's like, it's a part of my upbringing. It's my favorite thing, so it's just one of those things that comes with the territory.
Well, then if you love it, don't let them scare you.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again. So I watched it for the first time in probably 16, 17 years when I was doing this film. I'm a narcissist.
Women are the most dangerous thing for women, because what happens is women will tell a woman, girl, go out and live your life. So she's gonna go out and live her life. She's gonna fuck 20, 23, 27, 30, 35. Then she's gonna get party and be like, damn, I want to get married. And the men that wanted you at 20, that want to marry you when you were 20, they no longer want you. They want the younger female. And so now a lot of women are bitter and mean and get on these platforms and get on YouTube. I can't find a man. They ain't shit. They ain't shit because you ain't shit pussy. I'm tired of going to parent-teacher conferences with my son, and I'm seeing all these women line up down the hallway stressed out, leaning over on the fucking wall because they don't have no man. They made a mistake 12 years ago, 13 years ago, had a one-night stand after the club, but fucked a dude that they said, oh, I can only just fuck him once. And now we have 70% of black moms that don't have a man, and these boys are being raised by women. And now these women have turned these boys into son husbands. And now they don't make them clean up. They don't have no structure. They don't go outside and play. They don't do nothing but sit on their asses. And then when they get older, they become the same men that their mamas hate. They're out here being Pookie and Ray Ray fucking all the females, depending on females to take care of them. It's a shame that these boys are being raised by these single moms and they taking up on the feminine characteristics of their fucking mama.
In the West, it's almost every mom and general woman at this point. And as I've repeatedly stated, this has everything to do with what they watch, who they praise, and who they surround themselves with. Again, people may be in different camps when it comes to the smaller things, but what makes this trailer and the awful movie that comes with it a disaster is that it in no way encapsulates how humans interact in the real world. You may be able to make a movie where men kneel and pick up a broom, but good luck finding 0.0001% of those who would actually do that in a realistic setting. Which is why, ladies, this is the future, one that you've chosen.
I'm confused how two beautiful women.
And what exactly could have these two beautiful women confused?
Can't even get talked to.
Let's consider the possibilities. The first being that a lot of guys probably already assume that one is probably in a relationship, so it's not worth their time to bother. The second is that a lot of attractive women have put out there that unless a guy is up to their standards, they're not even going to consider him. So if a guy isn't certain that he's going to meet those high standards, then he's not going to try. Also, a lot of guys are tired of having their hearts broken, of being rejected, and they're just not wanting to have a relationship, so that's another reason. But I think the biggest reason is what a lot of women have put out there themselves on social media, is that they want men to leave them alone. They'd rather choose the bear, and that they don't need men at all. And the men have been hearing this, they've been listening. And so, unfortunately for those women that do want to be approached by men, a lot of other women have actually put a stop to that. So if one is wondering why men don't approach women anymore, I think one knows where to lay the blame.
This is one of the things that I learned because I fucked this up so much. For a man to feel fully in his power and in his masculine, if that is his power zone, the things that women can do to mess that up is you can criticize your man, you can control your man or try to control him, or you can close down your heart. If a man can't feel her softness, can't feel her vulnerability, no attraction.
Yeah.
And if a woman tries to control her man, because most men want to feel the ability to have total freedom, not good. And if a man feels criticized, if you're constantly trying to make him your project and this is what's wrong and let me make you better, ain't gonna do.
And that's the core of the message here. In movies, TV, and the general media, maybe they continue to say there are plenty of women in the West. But guess what? I don't see any, and I'm willing to bet most of you are in the same boat here. Good luck with that latest dumpster fire, Disney. I doubt it'll be your last. Yet, and I do know this, the end is coming soon. As always, I wish you tremendous success. Now it's your turn. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember that if you leave the best comment, you'll get $5. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons, ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads, drop a comment, and share it. See you in the next video. Till next time.